So, while I knock over my microphone, almost, let's take a look at what we want to do today. I don't know how long today's stream is going to be. I had a pretty terrible night of sleep, so this is probably not going to go particularly well. All things considered, but hey, we'll see. Maybe this will actually make me perform better. That would be fucking interesting. So, a few things. We need to polish up the teleporting attack that we started doing last week, I think. Because it doesn't deal damage yet. And that's a pretty quick... At least I don't think it deals damage. Hold on, it might deal damage. I seem to remember it not dealing damage, but that might be mistaken. So we need to sit through this cutscene real quick. Also, new sword. You like it? I like it. And technically also new textures for the knight himself. Although, you can't really tell. Like, he's a little less shiny. He's a little more damaged. And that's about it. There's nothing much to it. So, does the sword attack... well, the sword attack damages us. The teleport attack doesn't damage us. That's what I get confused here. So... let's take a look here at the blueprints. That's data blueprints for the enemies, characters, bosses, knight, and there we have the teleport attack. That should be pretty easy to implement. We do need to put in the proper particle systems here as well. Do I have those named appropriately? I don't think I do. But the easiest way to get those is, I think I have references to them on this class itself. So we've got the vanishing particles, which we can just copy over to there. Can I just copy them over like this? I can. It's so much faster. So now it does that as well. Next attack. What even is... why is that on there? I don't know. Oh, that is the event dispatcher. That makes sense. So now we just need to, anytime we start an attack, what we need to do is we need to... honestly, we just need to wait for a gameplay event. Because we already have... the send gameplay event damage basic. So if we just wait for that event, that's pretty much what all we need to do. And we can more or less do that from the start of the ability until the end of the ability. Right? So we can... where even is event ability? Oh, there we go. So we can just wait for event. Wait event. And when the event is received, basic damage, attack, damage, basic. Not only trigger once, though we will probably have to put something in. We'll probably have to put something in for preventing like having 2 hits in the same swing, because you definitely don't want that. But only letting the trigger once would mean that we only can like hit 1 attack, and if it does the next animation, we can't really reset this node. And I don't think we can even say like, okay, wait for a gameplay event, but at some point stop waiting for a gameplay event. I don't think that's how that works at all. I mean, we can see if we can wait event. Wait gameplay event to actor. No. So, on receive event, how do we have this set up for the normal? I reordered my entire project a while ago, so I don't know where anything is. I think it's in enemies and then gas and then gameplay abilities. We've got the play basic attack animation, which needs to be ordered up a little bit better as well. But here we wait for the gameplay event for damage. And then we pretty much just do all of this, right? I think. So let's just copy that over. We probably should make a parent gameplay ability class for the enemy in general that just has all of this code in it. So I don't have to copy it over every single time. But I'm just going to copy it over anyway, because I don't give a damn. It's pretty much what's going on here. So the payload we will break. Because that gives us the target it is, right? Payload target. And that goes into all of these nodes over here. So we've got the actor rotation. Just checking that I don't forget anything here. Oh, those are all ability system component related, so we only need to cast that to third person character. And then I think that's pretty much it. So now we should have, of course, make that a... We don't need to make that a variable. We're not going to like make children of this. Default value, class defaults. Of course, that is... I think it's just damage to player. If I can spell it properly, anyway. If I can spell it properly, anyway. Enemy to player damage. Fairly certain that that is it. And then we have knockback for the player. So everything should work now, hopefully. And that will be at least the AI abilities done for the knight. And then we can get to making what is pretty much the exact same ability, but for the player. Which is going to be fun. Especially since I don't need to sit through this cutscene every single time I want to test it, because I can just test it on normal enemies. Which is fun. I'm not entirely sure yet what I'm going to do, because my god, it's laggy today. Don't know why. Wait, did he knock back just now? Because he definitely shouldn't be able to be knocked back. It's still not hitting me. Greetings back. So why is it not hitting me? Because his hitbox isn't being set to on, presumably. I think that might be the issue. Because well, first and foremost, another thing that we probably want to do is to move this out a little bit more. Since I changed the sword as well, I need to play around a little bit with the hitbox, but we'll get to that kind of fine-tuning a little bit later. What I want right now would be displace a gameplay or an animation montage at some point, right? Somewhere. I forgot how I set this up. I'm not gonna lie to you. Oh, play montage and wait, that's it. So we've got the teleport attack montage, which is really, I think it's just one animation that I reuse over and over and over again. And this is start attack. Okay, so now it does enable the damage box here. And it does disable the damage box, so that is not the issue either. We're going to test night. And anytime we overlap, let's just print a string, which will say die motherfucker. And just to make sure that we see it, let's make it red as well. Orange. Orange works too. Orange is fine. We can deal with orange. I really should disable this cutscene. It's really annoying already. But I like looking at my new sword, okay? I'm quite happy with the new sword. Doesn't quite line up with the animation, so I need to adjust the animation for the hands a little bit going forward. But the sword itself is such an improvement over what it was before. I really, really do like it. And I also gave the same sword to the player. I probably should make like a slightly different sword for the player at least, but for right now, this will do. So, if you try to attack me, that will just straight up hit me. So that's good. Oh, it's also overlapping with the floor, obviously. So that's been a bit of a problem here, but why is it just straight up not doing anything? Let's do this print string at the very end here, only after we've made sure that this is like a valid gameplay ability system thing. Damage. Oh, I'm just an idiot, aren't I? It's damage.enemy.basic. And I am waiting for a gameplay event with the tag damage.basic. That's not going to work, is it? Damage.enemy.basic. That should fix it. I mean, I also do like that introduction cutscene very, very much, to be fair. I made it in like 30 minutes. Probably going to have to change a couple of things about it at some point. But I do like, in general, how it looks. It's just I modeled, or I animated this based on the previous model, and you can see his arm is like clipping through the sword at a certain point, and his hands don't line up with the new length of the new sword grip. So I need to get that fixed at some point, but for now that doesn't really matter. For now we're just focusing on gameplay, and I'll do some animation shit later again, because there's just always too much to do. Maybe at some point we'll just make some animations. Okay, that is... Oh my god, I didn't think about the fact that he would follow me into midair. Oh, Do I like that? Is that good? Or is that bad? I don't know. That seems like it could be pretty fucked. Remember, this is the tutorial boss fight, so if you get hit once and you're... Well, with the amount of knockback that you get, I think he... Let me try. Because I think he won't be able to hit you, because you're moving too fast, so he will teleport. And I think his gravity is also still unable, so he will be falling down while you're getting knocked back, mostly upward still. So I don't think he'll be able to hit you if you're still like in the knockback thing. Maybe. Maybe? Hopefully. I do think it's a little overboard to have him teleport up towards you mid-knockback though. Like if you get hit once, you probably, for the purposes of this tutorial fight, should just remain safe. Yeah, actually no, that seems pretty good. The fact that he doesn't seem to be able to, at least not easily, let's try like 2 or 3 more times. to be able to hit you 2 times in a row with that attack might actually make that preferable over the way it was before. And that's mostly to do with the fact that I'm doing knockback differently, not so much with the actual teleporting attack itself. Because at this point, you just stay in the air longer with knockback than you used to. That's definitely not supposed to happen. The fact that I can attack during that cutscene, I'm pretty confident that apparently I didn't, but that I disabled the player input entirely during that cutscene, so I don't know what the fuck is happening there. Yeah, that gives you plenty of time to run away. He does hit like a fucking truck though. Okay, more or less that works. Let's go back into this guy's behavior tree actually and change around, get rid of that. And then in the teleport attack itself I also have a print string somewhere that prints the teleporting location, I believe. There it is. I really like that when you zoom out you can easily see that. So yeah, this literally doesn't do anything anymore, this function, so let's just replace whatever that is with just this function, because we've simplified this a lot. And now we need to program the entire fucking thing again, but this time for the player to use it instead of this boss fight. I just want to check whether or not the node that I just replaced didn't break anything majorly. But it should be fine. Should be, hopefully, maybe, kind of fine. Now, let's see. At some point I'm going to have to like actually fight this boss fight in its entirety, just to feel what it feels like right now. But okay, no, that seems pretty good. So the wonderful thing there is, if you like recover mid-air at the wrong time, he can still like double hit you, right? Which is kind of fun. Maybe it's still a little too difficult, but I feel like that's kind of a fun way of dealing with that. Maybe, kind of. I don't know, still don't know. For now though, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that's the animation folder. We need a blueprint folder for the characters, no, enemies, characters, bosses, knight, and the teleport attack we will copy over to the player, gas, gameplay abilities, and teleport attack, player teleport attack. Because for the most part we can just keep all of this. The only thing that we need to change around here is a couple things to do with the damage calculation and whatever we are teleporting to. So instead of casting to Night Boss here, we're going to be deleting. Actually, maybe not deleting. Maybe we can just change this to third-person character. That's probably going to invalidate a couple of things here. But we'll worry about that as we get to it. So rename that to player. And we'll just cast to BP third-person character for that. Because we need to be able to get the closest enemy, which yeah, Night Boss doesn't exist anymore because this doesn't update properly. It's very, very annoying. We also don't need to get the AI controller for this one. And then teleport to player will be renamed somewhere around here to teleport to closest enemy, just so we have everything named to what it actually does. And then we'll also update these things. And then we don't need to set as hidden or as unhidden, I don't think. We also don't need to set particle systems for this one. We might want to eventually, but for the time being, let's not. I don't think we particularly need that. We can again skip the set hidden thing. This we're going to keep for the time being. Sorry about bumping the microphone. I need to be a little bit better with that. And rename this teleport to... Let's call it teleport to location, actually. That is more factually correct as to what is going on here. Then... the active location that we're going for is going to be in here. And here we need to get closest enemy. And we only do this if get closest enemy is valid. So we need to check that first. So is valid. If it is valid, which it should be 99% of the time. But if it's not valid, we will end the ability. Just to be sure, right? Otherwise, this is going to cause issues with either game crashes or us trying to teleport to world location 000, and that's not what we want. So in the activate ability here, we're actually going to do the same. We'll check if closest enemy is valid to begin with, and only if it is valid will we do the rest of the ability. If not, we will instantly end ability, and we will also commit ability. And we'll get to the ability cost in a moment, because this is going to cost some MP to do, but we might need to do a little bit of calculation stuff for that. We probably will. The question is, do we need C++ for that? Or can we just simply do this? We probably can just do this the simple way, honestly. We might already have something set up for it, actually. Maybe. We'll see. No, we actually don't need to do any calculations, because this is a static number. This doesn't scale with the amount of MP that the player has. Like, the dashing ability will always take 1 MP, or 1% of your max MP, rather. This will always just take, like, 30 MP or something like that. So in theory, that should be it. Other than the fact that I need to teleport. Oh, do I not have montages set up for this? I guess we need to look through the animation folder to figure that out. Player montages. Oh, they're called short montage for these ones. So we can say short 1, short montage for 2. These one we can't copy with just shift right clicking, which is really annoying, but we can do this. And then we can say short montage 3, and that will be that. So we can end ability right after that. We don't actually need to bind anything anymore. But we do need to hold on. Oh no, we're moving into this one. No, that makes sense. So that in theory should be all there is to it. Again, we're going to just ignore the damage calculation for now and the ability cost. I just want to see whether or not it works to begin with for now. Because I would be amazed if this works properly right away first time. I'm running into a wall because I was looking over a chat, because of course that would happen. So let's see, does this work or does this still fuck me over? We're going to... I'll tell you one thing, I haven't set anything up to actually activate this ability or grant it to my character, so this is not going to work at all. Even before I try it. So let's... in blueprints, character... I really need to set this up a little bit, but I just need to make an array with abilities to grant, honestly. But this is all pretty... well, most of this is temporary, because this is all going to be granted and taken away based on the weapons we're wielding. So for now, let's just add one more here, give ability, and this will be the player teleporting attack, and an input action special attack. We are going to, when started, try activate ability by class. And we'll do that one. Okay, so that should now work. Is the idea. And if it doesn't, we'll have a lot to troubleshoot, because I was kind of banking on this entire thing taking most of the stream today, but we're not even half an hour in, and I think we might have like the bulk of everything that I was planning to do solved. But that, again, that is before I actually tested anything, so don't quote me on that. Well, that's not ideal. Let's try it again. Yeah, it ain't doing nothing, is it? Question is it actually activating the ability, or am I... It is the E key, right? Access none trying to read property player and branch is valid. Well, that's not helping me much, is it? Hello there, Hedgehog. How are you doing today? Welcome to the stream. Access none trying to read property player in the how though? Because we're casting this to third person character and then just immediately... That doesn't make a lot of sense. Why wouldn't that work? That should work. Get avatar from actor info. Also, we're never at any point checking whether or not this is valid, so I don't even know why it thinks that. We probably should check if it is valid. That's fair enough, but we're not. So... It would be fucking amazing if you could actually take me to where this is happening. Because where are we using an is valid node? Here, for closest enemy. It's trying to access the player there, but it's not getting the player. So let's just, for shits and giggles, again, this should just... this should just work. But it's not. So let's just try it here. It's not saying that we don't have a player. That cast isn't failing. Like, that's not the issue. Access non trying to read property player. I'm trying to get the... I'll just show you the version that I just made for the boss fight. Because I've got this attack that both the boss fight and the player need to have. Because they mirror each other in a lot of ways. They have the same weapon. A lot of lore dumping I could do here. That's potentially going to be relevant at some point in the future. But the boss fight has an attack here where he will teleport around and smack you in the face. And that's pretty much it. And the player also needs to have that ability to smack enemies in the face and teleport around. And for some reason that's being a bit of an issue so far. So let me just damage this dude a little bit so he starts doing that attack. Lucky me that I haven't changed the behavior tree yet. So he can do this. Which you probably shouldn't hit him back while he's doing that, to be fair. And I'm making the player version of that now. And I thought that was going to be as easy as mostly just copying over existing code. And for the most part it seems to be, other than the fact that... What? Wait. Yeah, that doesn't matter, okay. Other than the fact that for some reason it's not reading the player value here, like at all. And I don't know why. I've been working in Unreal 5 since it came out. I was working in... Well, it's not entirely true. I was working in Unreal 4.25, 4.24 is when I got started. But then I did move over to Unity for a little while there. Before deciding, like, I actually very much like Unreal. So I'm going to go back to Unreal. And at that point, we were at like 5.1. I did experiment a little bit with 5.0 before it was officially out, like the beta of it. So I stayed with Unity for like one Unreal update in length, and especially since 5.3 specifically, or 5.2, I don't remember which one it was. The showcase of that really got me excited, so I was like, Unity, fine, I'm gonna go back to to Unreal now, bye. I mean, shoot your questions. I'm happy to answer wherever I can. I'm not going to guarantee that I can, but if I can, I will. Also in YouTube chat, Instagalactic has just woken up, which is great because sleep casuals. Do you know a way to create a dash mechanic using launch character, but the way that ground friction doesn't affect the dash? So dashing on the ground and mid-air would have the same result. Yes, because that is exactly what I do in my game. It's really annoying that you can't just turn that off, but if I go into my player class here, in C++, you can do this in Blueprint as well, don't worry, I just have it set up in C++. I just have a... I don't think I do have that anymore. I think I changed that. Yeah, I changed that because I'm now using the gameplay ability system, but I do have this function over here called null friction, which just, as it implies, sets the friction to a value of 0. And just what that does is it disables the gravity by setting the gravity scale to 0. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can read easier. It stops the current character movement. It sets the dashing speed, and then we set the velocity to that speed. And then our braking deceleration for falling gets set to 100 for some reason. Braking friction factor I set to 0, which is something that's on the character movement component. And then braking deceleration for walking I also set to 0. So this way you don't have any friction with the ground anymore. And then by the end of the dash, I have this reset friction value, and that just resets everything to the way it was before. And I keep those values just as variables here in the header file. I just on begin play set these, I think on begin play at some point somewhere, I don't know where, that's whatever works for you. I just set these variables to like some gravity scale. I write whatever the current gravity scale is, and then at the end I can set them back. That's a brief overview of how I used to do it. I do it differently now because I'm using the gameplay ability system, which has a way to add root motion to characters very, very easily. And that doesn't take into account the friction or anything, which is great. Do you know how MMORPG login systems work by any chance? That is that's a big question. That's a very big question. I don't really have much guidance there for you, to be honest. Sorry about that. No. I know a little bit about how to set up the Epic Online subsystem and use that for like logging in on lobbies. I have no idea how you would do that with an MMO. Don't implement the entire gameplay ability system just for a dash mechanic. That would be a headache. Don't do that. That's a no. Please don't do that. It takes quite a long time to get used to the way the gameplay ability system works, which is what I'm working with right here. It requires some bit of C++ if you mostly want to stay in Blueprints. I don't know for you, obviously. So that disqualifies it for a lot of people as well. And it's just overly complicated for something simple like that. Frankly, it might be overly complicated for what I'm doing here right now. I'm just saying that the way I had it set up is not the code that I use anymore. And frankly, I can probably get rid of this function altogether because I don't use it anymore. But that's the way I did used to do it, is doing it that way. Just setting the character movement component friction values to 0 for a moment. But before I set them to 0, I just cache the current values of them somewhere to a variable. Then at the end of the dash, I read those variables and set them back to that. Also, don't forget to, if you want to, you probably do, disable and enable your character input, but I'm sure that you do already have that set up for your dashing mechanic. So, what the fuck is going wrong with our reading of the player value here? Because that it is getting set. This cast isn't failing. So, the fuck is going on? I'm just going to replace this because I'm going to have to assume that node was just failing. Because we reset the type and the name. So let's see if this works now. Nope. And it's probably still getting the same error. It's still getting the same fucking error. This is really annoying. Let's move this over here so they're a little closer together. So this is a bad idea to do, right? Getting rid of the is valid, but we're going to do that anyway. Just to see if that somehow fixes things, and it's just the is valid node that's fucking up somehow. So do you use character launch for the actual movement of the character while dashing? For me personally, I believe the way I used to do it was I just got hit instantly. Okay. I think I just directly set the velocity. Okay, it's still... That's interesting, because I took out the branch or the is valid node altogether. So that would imply that it's... Oh, no, that makes total sense. I'm just an idiot. Okay. I think what I just used to do is like player, and then I think get movement component all the way down here, and then set velocity. That way, but effectively that does the same thing as launch character and just overriding the X and Y and Z. That is effectively what this function does anyway. So in the end, you probably just want to use this. This might do a couple of extra things as well, because it also triggers the on launched event, and that's potentially useful to be able to use. It also automatically sets you into a falling state, which is kind of nice, I suppose. So yeah, just use this. The way I did it, there's actually no good reason to do it that way now that I think about it. YouTube is still bugging for you. That's weird. I mean, you can watch wherever you want. I've got both of the chats open, so that's fine. Okay, so the issue lies in here, because of course we haven't cast to anything yet here. So what we need to do is we need to move this over here to the casting first, and only after the casting do we need to check the validity and the committability. And now it should work. Sometimes I'm just an idiot. And if anybody tries to say it's not only sometimes, but most of the time, I mean, I'm not going to get mad at you because you're right. It's just not, please don't say it. It's kind of rude. Yeah, okay, so the camera is still weird and I don't get rotated. I got a text. Who the fuck is texting me while I'm live? Why do people only text me when I'm live? The on-screen text is not legible. Which do you mean? Because I can only zoom in so far on Blueprint. And this should be pretty, like, depending on, like, if you're watching on a phone, of course, yeah, no. If you're, like, trying to read this, yeah, that I don't even think I can zoom in on this, honestly. Like, can I? I can't. So that we're just gonna have to kind of deal with. Okay, so why the fuck are you not rotating toward the proper orientation? Twitch chat. Oh, that's very small. Oh my god, you're right. Can I easily... I mean, I can just make it a little bigger. No, that needs to be like this big in order for that to work. Is there a good way for me to real quick get to this? Like, go to the dashboard? I'll try to update this real quick, but I haven't used this plugin before. I just literally downloaded the first thing that I saw on Google, which is always a fucking amazing piece of advice to do. Don't do that. Actually do research the things that you run on your computer. God, this interface is awful. But I kind of do need to... Extensions? No. Dashboard. Do you have a search function on this dashboard? That would help a lot. I don't think you do, which makes it even worse. Settings? Would it be in settings? Tools, goal bar, countdown, donations page, auto mode, which could be nice, but that's not what we're looking for right now. That's not it either, is it? I'll just Google real quick. Alert setup, engage your viewers, that's a modular package setup. I just want to get to a page where I can change my font size. Can't be that hard, can it? Oh, it's in alerts. I don't have an alerts tab, is the thing though. So this is just fucked. Is what we're learning here. This is the alerts tab, so can I chat messages? No. Subscribe, donation, cheer, raid, resubscribe. Yeah, no, this is just fucked. I'm just going to use a different plugin going forward, but I can't really change that right now, so not much I can do about that, I don't think, unless, like, maybe it's an overlay somewhere, but that would be a real weird place to put it. Yeah, no, I don't seem to be able to do anything about this at the moment. It doesn't seem like. So, sorry about that. I might look into that because that does sound really nice. The replaying of YouTube or Twitch on YouTube and the other way around. I'd also have to look into whether or not those would be seen as spam bots, because if they are, that could be an issue. Anyway, are we not setting the proper rotation? Oh, it's because we're not... Okay, no, that makes sense. We need to... just get the closest enemy, especially after we've already teleported. Surely that would then be the same. And we also need to change a couple of things up about the camera system when we do the teleporting, because as you can clearly see in a moment here, the camera freaks the fuck out when we teleport around. So what we'll probably do is we'll make an actor, which is just a camera. But for now, I mean, it doesn't do any damage, obviously, because we don't have that set up yet. But I think what we're going to do first is we're going to... Maybe what we can do, actually, that would be kind of cool if we could do that. Can we take the existing camera component from one actor and put it on a different actor? We probably shouldn't do that, actually, because... Hold on. If we destroy that actor while it would be attached, then it would destroy the gameplay camera. So, no, we need to set up a new... we need to set up a new thing for that. For sure. So let's just... I'm going to have to experiment with this. I haven't really figured out what I want to do with this yet, but... just call this actor and external camera boom. So the question is, do I want to make this as an actor and add the thing as a child actor component? Or do I make it Let's just do it this way for now. It doesn't really matter. We... Or do I just add cameras to every single enemy in the game? Is that going to have a performance impact? Because that will make my life a lot easier if we just do that instead. Unreal camera component performance impact. Does having multiple cameras create performance issues? Okay, nobody's answering this thread, which is annoying. Mesh component performance, player controller versus camera manager, I don't care. Yeah, but if the camera isn't active, it probably isn't rendering anything, is the thing. So if it's just a camera component hanging out and not doing anything until it's activated to be like either rendering to like a render target texture or directed to the viewport, I assume it should be fine. Let's see if there's any more. I mean, I can just do that as well, I suppose. I can just shove in a bunch of cameras and see if I get absolutely obliterated. Let's just do that. I mean, for this cutscene, right, if I go back into game view, the cameras are invisible. That's interesting. But for this cutscene, if I open up the level sequence, it'll show them all. There's like, it's only like 5 cameras in here. And these are specifically cinema cameras, so that might make for a difference, but I don't know. I'm just going to add like 100 cameras or something like that, and we'll see. Because if like 100 cameras doesn't... okay, this is going to have an issue in the viewport with me showing... Yeah, okay. This is going to lag things out a little bit, to be fair. But I'm probably never going to have more than like... Oh, I need to Alt and then lift Alt and then re-enable Alt. Okay, that's kind of annoying. The most amount of enemies I'll have on screen at the same time will probably be like 20 or 30 or something like that. So, like this amount of cameras, which is 4, 8, 12, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, and let's keep it at 40. If these 40 cameras don't impact me at all, they are on the persistent level, okay? That should be fine. Stat FPS. At the moment it's on 20 FPS. Which is low, yes, but I'm also streaming, so that's not a good indication yet. I need to see what the performance is like. Okay, I don't think that's... Don't delete the cameras that you don't want to delete, though. I have a better idea. I have a much better idea. What if I just look through here and see what the first... It's that one. And everything after that should be part of these cameras. So we can delete these. And we're still at about 20 FPS. So that doesn't seem to make a noticeable difference. So we can just do that, seemingly. Let's go into the C++ class for the enemy. There we go. And I'm just going to steal the code for adding the camera boom from the main player character, which we have somewhere around here, surely. Camera boom on follow camera. And would you look at that? We added in here as well. If for any reason I at some point decide it is important for the player to be able to like possess enemies, now they also have cameras, which is kind of nice, I suppose, but we're not making Mario Odyssey here. So that's not going to matter. We don't need to be able to get and set them, so we'll just ignore that bit. And we'll go up here in the constructor, and we have... Just copy this over because I'm too damn lazy to write it again. And compile. So you're gonna give me issues? Did I forget to copy over something? It's always exciting to see compiling happening in real time. Oh, yeah, of course, we do need to actually include the header files for them. Only for the camera component, not for the spring arm? Okay. That's not what I want to include, but thank you very much for the suggestion. Camera component.h. And it probably also does need the spring arm component. Which is probably in components. No. Then where is it? Is it just spring arm component like that? Oh, it's in framework. Game framework, because that makes sense. Because now that we've that set up, we can just set our view target to the enemy that we're attacking. Which for the time being, we'll have to do. Where is my gameplay ability? There we go. So when we teleport, the first thing we do is set a view target. We need to get player controller first, I'm sorry. Set view target with blend, except we're not going to be actually blending. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be setting the view targets to our closest enemy. And then at the very end of the ability, which we have a node for somewhere up here, and ability, we'll set the view target just back to the player. And in theory, that should be a pretty simple way to crash the engine. Okay. Live coding is a bitch sometimes. It gives me a reason to just compile this, but I wish that it didn't also fuck up my blueprint, because now I'm going to have to redo some of that. And I don't know what the last time is that I saved that blueprint. I don't think it was that long ago altogether, so it'll probably be fine. Okay, that's compiled again. Let's open this up. Look, I also cleaned up some of my projects. I put them in my Google Drive, so that they don't clutter up my interface here anymore. I probably should get rid of this as well, because I'm not using that anymore. Just look through those to see how Epic uses the gameplay ability system. And yeah, we're just going to skip restoring those because I don't really care. Unreal needs an autosave feature for its blueprints if it's going to not save the blueprints when it crashes, which I entirely get the fact that you can't save things mid-crash, right? That's not the issue that I'm complaining about here, but it does need, like, it might have an autosave feature for blueprints, honestly, and I just don't know about it. Oh, I lost a lot. Oh no. Oh no 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 no. That's not good. Please tell me that I don't need to redo everything. Gameplay abilities. Teleport attack. Do I even have, like... Okay. I need to redo everything. That's not a big deal because I know what to do, so it's gonna be like 5 minutes, but I'm going to, like, be mad and take a bathroom break. Fuck this. I don't like that one bit. You guys entertain yourself for a minute. Okay, let's fix this bitch up because it's not going to be that big a deal. We just need to reset some animations and change up a few variables. And then actually remember to save while we're working. So this will be short attack 1. Short attack 2. Short attack 1 again. Can you guess what the next one is? Because I can. It's a short attack 2. And then finally we do short attack 3. And we don't bind to the next one on this one because we'll just end ability. We don't need this last one. Yeah, saving every single time is not a productive use of time with the version control plugin because it does like do that. Well, it's actually pretty fast, never mind. Probably should do that a little bit more often. Then again, it should just autosave every few minutes as well. There's no good reason, I imagine, for it not to do that. Let's actually see if there's like any editor preferences things for that. Save. Auto. Change how editor loads and saves file. Frequency in minutes. 3. Let's see if that fixes me up. I mean, it doesn't submit to version control every single time, but it does check out the assets that you are changing. Which kind of makes sense that it does that every single time you do that, because that means there's a change to that file, so it needs to be added to the list of things to eventually push. Okay, so what else do we need to fix up? We need to change this around again. Change that from a night boss to the third person character value. I'm sure that Unity does do that, because otherwise there's very little reason to have a plugin. But then again, maybe Unity doesn't do that, and it does it in the background. Maybe. Because Unity version control probably works a little bit smoother with Unity than it does with Unreal, still, I imagine. Fuck, I hope. We realize if they are on par, but that's generally not how this kind of thing works, so I imagine that it just works smoother with Unity. Yeah, exactly. I do imagine that it probably is developed more for in-house for their own engine. Just to be sure, we do want to check is valid here, and if it is valid, we commit ability, and then we did another thing, didn't we? I don't remember. Huh. Okay, let's just do this. And we'll call this player. They would know their own code base better to integrate it, I suppose. Although I kind of doubt that it's the same developers working on these things. I very much expect that these are very separate teams that don't really have much to do with each other. So in that regard, I don't think that would necessarily play a huge part in the quality. It's probably just they make it Unreal compatible, and I can definitely see a reasoning for we make it Unreal compatible because it gets us potential new customers, but we're not going to spend a significant amount of time on it because it still is our competitor. And we would much rather people do use Unity. And if it's good enough, it's good enough. It doesn't need to be flawless for the Unreal version, I suppose. From a business perspective, that makes sense. Yeah, okay, but the question is, at that point, how much did getting merged with Unity improve its parity with that engine specifically? Because at this point, it might be very much more so optimized for Unity and not so much for Unreal. But that might just be because since it's been acquired, it's been improved for Unity specifically. Slash, was it initially developed for Unity to begin with and Unreal added afterwards, or was it already well, it's compatible with everything. It's just a Git thing, right? What, like the Unreal plugin and that kind of stuff, at what point did that come in? Is that newer? Is that pretty old at this point? All those kind of things. Oh, I remember what we do. We first check if the player get closest enemy is also valid. Because we decided if that's not valid, we want to instantly end the ability before we commit to it. That's the thing. At this point, I am like, really? Oh, we need to also change this over again, don't we? Okay, sure. At this point, I'm really paranoid about saving a lot, so I'm probably saving too much. There's no such thing as saving too much, but it does become quite unproductive to change or to save after every single change. And then down here somewhere we also have, yeah. This actor location, and then there's also a bunch of nodes that we can get rid of, like this set hidden, this particle system. This set hidden, and this particle system. Supposedly it doesn't actually use Git, it's its own thing. I mean, I doubt it. Well, because, I mean, if it is, all the more power to them, but why? At that point you are very much reinventing the wheel. Oh, surprisingly, sorry. Okay, sure, cool. That seems kind of dumb, not gonna lie. But fair enough. Okay, so let's just disregard for the time being. We'll do that at the end here, just because that's a little neater. I don't know what we did before, doesn't really matter. Get player controller, and that one we set view target with blend. We set it to this fucking thing. No blend time at all. It's good. And then we just copy this entire thing over, and at the end of the ability here, we just set the view target back to the player itself. Okay, save this son of a bitch, compile it, save it again. And no doubt I almost forgot something important. We need to give the ability teleport, I said, player attack. And we need to activate that on the ability system component, and then on the impact input action rather for the special attack. When we start it, we try activate ability by class, which automatically gets the ability system components. I didn't know that. That's actually very nice. Teleport. Okay, neat. Let's see if this looks halfway decent. Also, we also probably need to redo the changes I made to the actual boss for doing damage. Fuck you! I mean, that was a pretty good start, not gonna lie. That was a pretty decent start. I don't dislike it. Like, I hate the camera angle, obviously. But for the most part, like, that kind of works. I just need to make the camera boom itself a fair bit longer, and maybe the camera angle in general a bit wider, tilt the camera up a little bit, and potentially make it... Yeah, potentially make it work with the player's inputs, so that the player can still look around with this camera. That might also be necessary. Then again, I do also kind of like the idea of you just not having any control during this attack, as long as it just, like, its default state looks a little bit better than this. So let's go into our third-person character. And in there, just go into the camera boom here, and we can do this on a per character basis as well if we wanted to. But for now, let's just steal the arm length here, because I set the arm length, I think, in the... Fuck off. In the enemy here to 400 by default. Yeah, let's make that... Actually, let's make that even further away than the normal character. 7,000 is a bit much, but 700 seemed pretty good. And then... What is the camera field of view? Is 90 degrees here. Let's set that to be ever so slightly wider as well, at like 80 degrees. So field of view. Set field of view to 80.0 f. And maybe that's not what I wanted to do. And maybe we want to also like tilt this up a little bit and make it... Oh. What? Can I not tilt the... Huh. Okay, that's weird. We can do that, but that still doesn't... that still doesn't rotate the camera to what I need it to be. Why won't you allow me to do that? It's a very good question. I don't know. Anyway, let's set this follow camera. Set location. F vector 0, 0, 100. No, that's not for that one actually. We need to do that for the boom. For the camera boom itself. Camera boom. There we go. And can I set relative rotation as well? Let's just test it out. Maybe if we do it through the constructor, it magically will work. Probably also crash the engine again, because again, live coding fucking sucks. Oh, thanks. I'm very happy that my tutorials on Unreal are helping you out. There's a bunch more to come in the next, well, forever, presumably, because I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. There's so much that I want to share around. Yeah, this doesn't... I mean, to be fair, it's also not setting the location, so... I don't know. We can just do this on a per class basis going forward, I feel. I think that's fine. So if we just get the camera boom, we can just say, hey, you up there. I just don't know why I can't rotate the camera boom. It's kind of annoying. But I suppose the issue... okay, I suppose what the issue is that we probably need to do it like that, right? So we can set that at like 150, and then the follow camera itself we can rotate to -30. -30 doesn't seem too bad. And then we can take this back into C++ in a moment. So if we do that. Okay, so we can get rid of this, but we can socket offset. I think we set that to 250 a moment ago. And then the follow camera itself, we can set the... Oh, pull up the YouTube chat again. I want to interact with the peoples. Follow camera. Set... Can we do like rotation? Direct? What is the difference between direct and not direct? What value did we set it to just now? I think we ended up with -30, yeah. So -30. Okay, so what does the set direct do actually? Sets the value of the relative location without causing other side effects to this instance. You should not use this method. Use the standard set relative location. Okay, point taken. Fair enough. Test night, compile. I mean, this is just literally doing nothing now, is it? Oh, that's because it's the target offset. Is it the target offset though? Am I just an idiot? No, it's definitely the socket offset for this one. So why is it not working on that other... This is weird. This is real weird. Let's open up the Ghost blueprint and just see what that looks like. I mean, this one seems to be in its proper place. It's just not putting proper rotation on the camera. Unreal C++, set component rotation in constructor. Desired rotation depends on these flags. I don't care. It's not what I'm looking for. We'll figure that out in a moment. Let's just see first what this feels like. And yeah, we can save all these things and add them to the checked out list. That's fine with me. It doesn't crash the game so far. That's a fantastic start. That's always good. Then let's see if we can actually hit things. And it not look like total shit. I mean, this still doesn't look great, admittedly. But it's a bit better. What it probably should do to make it look a little bit more dynamic. I'm just gonna test this in the basic demon. Oh, but the camera boom can't rotate, can it? Oh, that might be because it's use pawn control rotation. That might be part of the issue. Okay, that definitely is just straight up is the issue. So if I were to... okay, we'll figure that out in a moment. But if I go into the event graph here and I go into tick and I say add... add local rotation, we can split the structure pin and we can simply like add 5 degrees per second to the Z, something like that. I probably should only do that with the closest enemy, and I should do this from the player. But I don't care right now. Let's let's test it this way, and we can always... Because right now it's rotating all of these cameras that are not being used every single frame on every single enemy, which is insane. Don't do that. But for now it'll work. I just want to see whether or not that makes it like look a little bit more exciting and dynamic. Okay, yeah, definitely. Make it rotate a little bit faster. Like 20 degrees might be a little much, honestly. Welcome back. Welcome back to my misery. Well, I say misery, it's actually going quite fine so far tonight. We had that one crash, which was an issue, which I'll have to look at the actual attack for the boss fight in a moment to see if it has any damage code in it so far. Let's see. Okay, that feels a lot better. Not gonna lie, I kinda like that. I also, to be honest, do like the idea of apparently not getting hit. What the fuck is that about? Okay, we'll look into that at some other point. I do like the idea that it is synced for all of the enemies. So when I teleport around to a different enemy, it still has the same orientation. Which would mean that they are always... but that's not even going to hold up, because if enemies spawn in at a later time... But enemies should only ever spawn in groups in my game, if I follow my design IDs. Also, there's no damage in general, is there? Oh no, there is, never mind. It's just, oh, I don't have damage set up. That makes sense. I don't have damage set up for the teleporting attack, but I don't know, I think this is kind of neat. I think we can deal with this, right? This is... Like, it's a little jumpy at points, but I don't hate it. What I do hate, though, is the fact that there's no camera lag on this boom, so... Let's in the camera boom here. Set lag? What is it called? It's not called camera lag, right? No. GitHub, do your thing. Camera lag speed, it is called camera lag. What do I have that set to on my player character? Because that is pretty decent. The lag on this is set to 5. Where's my code? There it is. So that's 5. And then enable camera lag, true in general. Do we ever get to the... I'm just testing out GitHub Copilot at this point. Do we ever get to the like max distance variable setting, and how long does it take to get there? No, it's literally just stuck in between these two. Okay, so that's kind of too bad. Rotation lag we don't really need. I just need camera boom, not length. The fuck are you on about? Camera boom, max distance? That's not what that's called. I'm like 92% sure it has a different name. Camera lag max distance. Camera lag max distance is gonna be like 750, not 1750, that would be too much, like 750. I think 750 seems pretty good. Compilation error, I'm sorry, what? Camera boom undeclared. Oh, capital C. That makes sense. You are still erroring out because... $47. I'm assuming that has to be a capital C as well. Maybe? It seems to have solved some things, so let's get back into Unreal. I don't like how camera lag seemingly doesn't use delta time, because it definitely gets really screwy when don't attack me. It gets really screwy when the frame rate is low. I don't really know why it wouldn't. Okay, I've got a better idea. Well, better idea. I don't know if it's a better idea. There's a little bit of a design decision to make here. Because do I want the player to teleport around all the time, and this ability to hit multiple characters around, so pretty much hitting like 6 characters all once? Or do I want to quickly hit the same character 6 times? Because it kind of feels a little weird the way we jump around with the camera still now. So if I just, instead of getting the closest enemy every single time, if what we do is we make a variable out of that instead. And then we just, every single time we check that variable. If that variable is no longer valid, then we set a new closest enemy. But as long as this enemy is still alive, we just focus on that one enemy. I feel like that makes a little bit more sense. So what we'll do instead here is we'll get closest enemy. And here then we'll do a is valid check first. And if it is still valid, we'll just do what we want to do. And if it is not valid, we will set closest enemy to a new value first, and then we'll move on. Unless there is no new closest enemy, in which case we'll end the ability as well. So we need to make a little bit more room around here. But I think this is going to make the thing feel a little bit more, if nothing else, it's going to make it feel more cinematic, which is a good thing. And ability. And then we just need to replace references to closest enemy from the player to this instead. So we can get rid of that. And that seems to be... Oh, we don't need to reset the view target every single time, I suppose, now, but this still is the easiest way to do that. So let's see what let's save and then see what that feels like. Because this also this is probably the way that I want the dual swords that I eventually will make. I want them to feel like you're absolutely like going to town on one single enemy mostly. And the dual swords are supposed to be just a strictly better version of the basic sword, really. And we've also got a weapon, the scythe, which is specifically supposed to be good with dealing with multiple areas, multiple enemies around you. So it's still teleporting around for some reason, or is it? Hold on, no, it's probably not doing that. Unless, let's check here. What are your probe channels? Do we set that up anywhere? Probe channel camera. And for you, your probe channel is also camera. So it, that's not the reason that it's jumping around. Clearly. Let's every attack also add a print string and print out what enemy we are teleporting to. Because we are setting the actor location to, that's the rotation. New location is getting from teleport to player, which is the wrong name, but that doesn't matter for right now. That's using that variable. So there's no reason that it should be teleporting around. I think. Also, I did say that I was going to save in that other room to prevent having to walk this whole way every single time, and now here I am walking this whole way every single time. Before I do anything test related, we're going to do that first, just so that I've done it. Save game, continue. Okay, now let's teleport to some enemies. I don't even think what it is doing is... Okay, let's do this another way, because I feel like it might be something to do with this. So let's only set the new view target if so let's not set that here actually. Let's get rid of that. Do it this way. This way we'll only set the view target to a new thing if it needs to. Instead of resetting it every single time I attack, which that seems to be improving things quite a lot. Why is my healing ability also seemingly triggering? Okay, that's kind of weird, but sure. Anyway, this seems to be still doing weird stuff, huh? Demon 12. It's still teleporting around weirdly, I don't know why. Unless it's to do with... Hold on, does this thing still influence the camera probe? Doesn't seem like it does. I'm not really sure what's causing this bug. The fact that the camera is like all weird. Because it definitely is focusing on that one enemy. But something about this is... Oh! I think I know what it is. Maybe... No, that can't be it. Because I don't... I was thinking when the enemy itself rotates, that kind of fucks over the... And it still... No, it still does, actually. No, that still does. Okay, that is interesting. Because if we just remove this, right? What happens? What should happen? Is that the camera will just rotate with the actor. It doesn't use the control rotation anymore, but it's still parented to the actor itself. So if we can see the... Yeah, the actor rotating. So... This is the reason that I wanted to make a separate actor. Because we spawn in that actor, and that actor... we just attach to an enemy. Yeah, I think that works a lot better because right now... Unless there's... This will be real weird because that's not how parenting works, but... Unless there's a way in Unreal, make component not inherit rotation from actor, something like that. Attach component to actor without following rotation. There's a lot of people that have asked about this. Set the rotation type to world for the component so that it does not inherit from the parent. This is a thing that you can do. Okay. Did not know about that. Rotation set to world. That's not the right actor. But we need to do this in C++ anyway, so fuck do I know. Camera boom. rotation. We need... Surely we can do this, right? Unreal. Set rotation type C++. Is using absolute rotation. What does this do? Let's see. Get the literal value of B absolute rotation. This exists, so subclasses don't need to have direct access to B absolute rotation. So, okay, but what does B absolute rotation do? B absolute, not baby absolute. What the fuck? Set absolute rotation. Maybe this function will tell me a little bit more about that. Or not. Let's just see whether or not this changes anything. It sounds like it would be related to that. So I feel like if I go into the ghost now, it uses... Nah, it doesn't. It doesn't. Oh, but that is called absolute rotation, so that really seems like it... really seems like it would mean that. Abso... Let's just check. I changed this on the basic daemon, I think. Yeah, absolute rotation. That in general is just a good thing to know about. Like, I hadn't run into this ID before, but knowing this, I probably should... Okay, that does fix that. That is amazing. Yeah, I'm probably going to make like a short about that. The fact that that exists, because that is fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic, the fact that that exists. What is not fantastic is the fact that setting it from C++ seems to be a bit of a problem. So let's go into the enemies here. Characters, not into bosses, into ground. We've got the shaman as well. Haven't touched that one yet. If I go into its camera boom, its rotation. Maybe we say camera boom transform. Like, can we just like get transform or something, and then let's just let's just Google this again. Unreal set using absolute rotation. There's like 4 documentation pages on this, which is something new for Unreal. Okay, this page is not gonna help me. This page is the exact same page, and so is this one. Okay, I've got a better idea. What we'll do is I will just make a new class here in Unreal Engine of type enemy and just see if it does anything like that. So if we just do ground enemy base, just call it new blueprint, that's fine. Its camera boom does automatically get set to absolute rotation now, so that's just, it's not going to affect the pre-existing values, which is fair enough. That's fair enough. So for this one, I just need to set them to world rotation manually. Which also begs the question, actually, if I do that, I didn't check that, but is the camera properly rotated in all these new ones as well? Because I do have that set in C++ as well. Yes, that's also immediately set to what it should be like. So that's actually just straight up pretty good. That said, we probably should also set use control rotation to false through C++. So we do camera, boom, that one, thank you. Use control rotation false. So now I do need to manually set that in all of these other ones as well. Also, I think this might be diagonal. It's not, just look like that with the perspective. Basic demon. We don't use a control rotation already there. For this one we do want that because that's not an enemy. Absolute rotation. Absolute rotation. Absolute rotation. This is slightly tedious, but we'll have to do with a few enemies that we've already created. But going forward, this should be automatically set up, so that's good. Control rotation. I do wonder. No. It's interesting how it does set up the camera boom properly, but it doesn't do the rotation for the camera properly for some reason on the pre-existing ones, and the same thing with the absolute rotation thing. It's kind of weird. Doesn't matter that much, just kind of weird. World rotation. Use control rotation. And I mean, while we have all of these things set up anyway, what we might as well do is set the... Where is it? Set the rotation for the camera to -30 and everything as well. So we can just do that. Huh. Interesting, that updates that as well. Still kind of weirded out by the fact that this doesn't seem to be doing anything specifically for the boss for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, god damn it. Wrong mouse button. The camera itself. Let's actually take a look at the blueprint while we do it, so we know that nothing is getting absolutely fucked. No. Oh. Just to make sure. There we go. And... oh. Oh, hold on. I think I did... that's wrong. That is wrong. This needs to be relative. Guess who? Guess who is been live for 2 hours already, so it's actually kind of winding down slowly. But welcome nonetheless. Happy to have you. That's absolute rotation. There was one of these where I think I set the rotation on the boom itself, and we don't want that, so... yeah, so I set this one to absolute rotation, which is good, but I also set it to... that, so... okay, but why the fuck is this not doing what it should be doing? Like, it's doing that for everything else, so I don't exactly know... I suppose it doesn't matter too much in the end. Let's save everything. And just try to... I'm always worried when it freezes up for a second that it's gonna fuck me. Like, we know that it works for these guys now, right? Like this, that works like a charm. But for some reason, hold the fuck on, because these are also supposed to... is it because they've already been put into the... oh no. No, these should... why... huh? I feel like something isn't adding up here. Maybe it's just because the camera boom was making the camera... like, the whole reason for the camera boom is like having a line trace thing, right? So... maybe that's the thing that's making this seem like they're closer up. I mean, that kind of seemed kind of fucked that you hit me twice with that. Also need to do something about if you run into a different room, it gets rid of like the cursed runes on you or something. Don't have anything set up for that yet. Let's just see whether or not the boss fight still has his move. Well, he still has a move, but if he can damage me or not. And then we'll also set it up so that we can only use... we've got a couple of things more to set up actually for that ability. We need to deal damage when the attack hits, which is going to be very easy. Probably should have done that first, because then I could have used it for... we also need to figure out why it triggers when I try to heal myself mid-air. That's kind of weird, not gonna lie. Not entirely sure why it does that. And the damage for the boss attack still does not work. That sucks. Okay, first and foremost though, we are gonna go into class defaults here. And source requires tags. Source blocked attacks is... if it has the stunned status, you shouldn't be allowed to use this. And now I want to figure out what the fuck is up with this. Oh, that's the issue. Now it just needs to be -1. Okay, that makes sense. Because it's doing both of these abilities, right? Yeah. Kind of interesting that it seems to queue them up, though. It says that there's a couple of people here, but not everybody is always active in chat when they're hanging out in a live stream. So, there's probably a couple of people watching and not much else, and that's entirely okay. Okay, attack me. I said attack me. It's not that hard, just attack me, goddammit. Thank you. Okay. That issue is fixed. Okay, now I need to restart the game again, because I've got another knockback related thing that I need to check whether or not it's been fixed. It's the easiest actually if you just attack me, so let's just do that. Okay, that has not been fixed apparently. Oh, source, I need targets. Right? Activation. Oh, activation, that's it. I always get these mixed up. Still getting used to this tagging system in gameplay abilities. But that should now prevent me from using this when I'm knocked back. So you go ahead and attack me, please. Thank you very much. And now I can't use this until... thank you for reminding me. I still need to fix my wacky profile page. And also that bug. Don't know what the fuck happened there. But sure. Okay. That's been fixed. Now... let's deal with the damaging portion of this, because we can just get rid of all this. Which actually, that's quite nice, because this is the code that we need for the other ability that we were working on earlier, which I accidentally made the engine crash with. You can put those words in the right order by yourself, I'm sure. So if you go characters, bosses, knight, teleport attack, we can at the very top here just copy this over, and now it should work. I didn't think about that, but that works fantastically. There's an issue here somewhere. God, I wonder why that's not connected up, but sure, why not? And then we can do something fairly similar in the basic, no, in this one. So we can delete these, actually save everything. And then, once again, I probably should make a parent class for this that just makes the other attacks inherent. All of this damage dealing stuff. But at the moment I don't really care. I might do that later. It's a pretty easy thing to fix up in a bit. But for now we'll just... That's in the enemies, that's not what I want. I want characters, player, gas, gameplay abilities. I forget what I did to make this one a different color from the rest. Because it is... gameplay ability is gameplay ability, and this also is... Oh, it's because it's a child. No, but these are also children. I don't know why these have different colors. That still confuses me a little bit. It doesn't matter though. We can just go into the event graph here. Somewhere, maybe. And somewhere along these lines, holy fuck, there's a lot of nodes here. Starting all the way over here, we can wait for that gameplay event. And just select all of this. And just put that in here, up top, where I never have to look at it again. We just connect this up. I'm going to get rid of the time dilation thing though. I don't think we need that for these ones. Just a couple of quick jabs. We also then don't need to reset time dilation, so that's fine. And there's some bugs with the resetting of the defense still. We also don't need to do that. And that in theory should have just allowed me to damage things with this ability. Let's save all though, before I do anything stupid. So let's see if I can. Can I damage things? I mean, the knockback doesn't work and I can only damage them once. Which makes sense, now that I think about it. But that's all pretty easy to fix, really. We can... Why do I not deal knockback, though? That is a good question, because I'm definitely applying that ability to them. So why aren't I applying knockback? Oh, is it because I don't have my knockback set to anything yet? So if I just like do one normal attack, now the knockback will work for them. I still will only be able to attack them once, but the knockback, yeah, so the knockback will work. So we need to... can close this one down actually. We need to steal the set knockback bit here as well for every time we attack, so we can just... steal that as well. And this we need to do every single time we teleport. We can just add that at the end here. Well, if we're gonna do it that way, we might as well just set it at the very start. So we can just before this. I'll clean up the blueprint for this at some point, I'm sure. That point is not right now, not today. But every time we teleport, what we do want to do is get... What did we call? It's a very good question. What did we call that? Is that on the weapon class? It's probably in the weapon class if I had to guess. So characters, player, sword, hit enemies. Okay. So every time we teleport, what we also want to do is we want to clear that hit enemies, because that's technically a new attack, but it's not a new ability, so whatever. I'm pretty close to getting Twitch Village. Just need the average views up. Yeah, me too. Hold on a second, my back. I've been sitting down for too long today. My back is fucking killing me. My average viewers are like 2.1 or something at this point. Surely this stream has decreased that again though. But it needs to be 3 to get affiliates, and I've got all the other things by this point. Most other things other than the followers aren't that hard to do. It's just like stream a couple of times a week for 2 weeks. The 3 viewers on average though is a bit of a bitch to get. So we can get the weapon. Yep. I don't know if like half standing up, bent over. I mean, it feels better for my back at the moment. But this might do more good, more bad than good. So I'm just going to sit back down again. And oh man, that feels horrible. I need to do some more stretches and go for more walks. That said, I did go for a walk today. So maybe that is actually the issue. It's the fact that I fucked myself up going for a walk for like an hour. Which is real sad if that is the case. Once you got it, you also have to keep it. If you get an average of 3 and then it goes down, do you lose affiliate? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe? Probably. I don't know. Probably not actually. Because it seems like it would be really annoying if there's channels that hover on that edge a lot. To have to like break and reinitiate a contract every single time. So it's probably, if you lose it for a certain, like if you don't get back over that 3 on average for like a month, then maybe you lose it. But that's just me speculating at this point. So cast to weapon, and we will clear, get, hit enemies, and clear that. And now it should allow me to... Oh, right, knockback. What do I have knockback set to on my abilities? Just a normal sword attack. The knockback on this is 110. So we just set that to 100 for now. That'll probably do fine. And now the ability should work again. The ability has been absent for like a month and a half. It does seem to still teleport you toward the closest enemy and not the enemy that was chosen at the beginning here, which, I don't know, that might actually not be necessarily that bad of a thing. But it's not what I want to have happen, so... Let's see. Why would that be? Let's just find all references to the player. Get player, capsule component. Don't care about that. Get player, capsule components, capsule components. No. That's at the start of the ability. That is setting closest enemy to something else. Let's get few targets. Okay, maybe it's not doing that, and I'm just a bit of an idiot. Oh, what it might be doing... Hold on, what it might be doing is it might be doing something in the animation triggers. So, let's take a look at that. Yeah, it's doing this combat pulse thing. So we don't need it to do that anymore. Because that is fucking up the rotation for my character, I think. So play a sword attack short. Sword attack short as well for this one. This one doesn't even do a combat pulse. And then play a sword attack 1 short. And this does literally nothing. Okay, cool. It's just that one attack then that fucks it up. So now it should just focus on the enemy that was chosen at the beginning here. You know, if it just takes another enemy every now and then, it's not even that big a deal, honestly. All that said, I think there's a bit of an issue with the damage box not getting turned on. Maybe? Oh, wait a second, these might be in the actual animation. So yeah, damage box turned on. Definitely, okay, so that might be more so what is going on. Let's just do it in here. That seems like... Oh, but I don't need to have the combat pulse in general anymore, right? So I can just go through sword attack 1 and 3. Can just delete these in general. And I think this one might be a little like too short. Maybe like there's about 0.3 where the damage box gets turned on. How long is this clip? Start time 0.2. Okay, so that's not it. Is it the second one that's not getting turned on? 0.37. Yeah, that's definitely not it either. It probably just needs to be a little bit closer to teleporting into the enemy itself, is my guess. Because the distance here was very much based on the size of the boss fight, and I haven't updated that yet, so we've got a value here somewhere. Let's make this 150, see if that makes it a little bit more consistent in hitting it. One, 2, 3. Okay, that's kind of fucked. The fact that it does that, but not too much we can do about that with the way this is coded. And it should also, every time it hits with these, it should also reset the revenge counter actually when it deals damage. So you've got a enemy here, revenge. I don't think I've got that exposed to Blueprint. Okay, enemy. Revenge. Do we have that in here? Revenge ability? No. So that's in the ground enemy. I really need to just start mixing these. Mixing these classes together. Oh, okay. Hello, Liquid Mark. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, so let's make a U function here that is for voids, resets, revenge counter. And let the magic of AI do its work, because I feel pretty confident that GitHub is going to be able to figure out what this function needs to do. It already has a function to look at which does something similar. And all that this needs to do is just do this, but exactly. Fucking love AI. So good. So good. So now we can just, it's still on the, it's on the ground enemy base. We already have that as a reference. So we can just reset revenge counter as well. And now it won't do the revenge attack in the middle of our absolutely fucking up your day attack. At least that's the hope. Maybe it still does, I don't know. It shouldn't. Which makes this feel like when it hits, admittedly, which it seems to have a little bit of difficulty doing sometimes, but yeah, that feels a lot better. The only like slight issue with it is that sometimes it teleports on top of another enemy and it yeets you onto the moon. But frankly, that's kind of fine. Man, this is an improvement over what it used to be. I really kind of like this, to be honest. Obviously, this does need to take like your MP, and it's also not actually dealing damage, is it? Because my damage is not getting set. If I just attack once, now my damage is set and it should start dealing damage. Okay, I also need it to set damage. Thanks. I've been working on this game for a while, and it's starting to take shape. There's a lot of like level design that we still need to do. But at this point, we're getting into like some more specific like gameplay stuff, and it makes things feel so much more fun to work with, rather than just coding system after system after system, which is also a lot of fun in a lot of ways, but not necessarily all too interesting always to like look at, I think. So we also have a set damage thing here. Just pretend like my blueprints are well organized, because they definitely are. Like definitely. They're not very messy. I'll neaten this up at some point when it's actually finished. Now let's see. Not enemies, but in characters, player, gameplay ability. Normal attack does how much damage? 10. We can just do 10 damage here, that's fine. And then that connects back up to there. So now it also deals damage, which is quite nice. That's a kind of a difficult question. How long have I been working on this? It's been a bit over a year at this point, but I started this for the first 5 months in Unity. Then I moved it over to Unreal Engine. So I had a lot of like 3D models and textures and stuff that I could of course just port over without too much issue. But all the code I had to rewrite, and in between, like in that entire process of porting that over, I also took a month to learn C++ to be able to actually do that properly to Unreal Engine. That seems pretty good. And since then, it's been another like 6 months now, I think, maybe 7, since I started to like recreate everything I had in Unreal, and this is infinitely. It's not doing the thing anymore because apparently that function was still needed. Huh, that's weird. Let's actually look at what happens when Okay, that's kind of weird. I thought, I could have sworn, apparently not, that this ability takes care of the movement for me now, and I don't need to do like the whole combat pulse function anymore. Through. Huh. Let's just lower this just to test. Because honestly, I was under the impression that that function just didn't do anything anymore anyway, other than maybe rotate me toward... If I do this mid-air, do I still, like, is it a friction-related thing? No, it doesn't seem to be. Huh. Okay. There seems to be a fundamental misunderstanding. No. Because it literally has a set actor rotation. Node here. So this just doesn't get executed, is what I'm learning. So this apply root motion. I'm glad that my tutorials are helping you make the switch as well. I just finished up the C++ videos, so there's going to be a little bit more blueprint related stuff coming up. I finally understand the gameplay ability system plugin well enough to the point where I feel somewhat comfortable teaching that as well, which involves a little C++. And after that, or aside from that, or whatever, I do want to start making every tutorial I make in both Blueprint and C++. Both because some people prefer one and some people prefer the other, but also because I feel like that might be a good teaching tool for people. If you already understand Blueprint, you can look at the Blueprint tutorial, understand what's going on, and then look at the C++ one. And that way maybe figure things out a little bit easier. That is something that I feel like I would have benefited from a lot while learning C++, so I feel like that might be a very good method for teaching. Because for the most part, these blueprint nodes are nothing more than C++ functions. Like, they literally just are. But like getting that connected in your head can really help, I think. So I'm just moving around this blueprint because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Okay, let's see. Apply root motion to force. It will print a string here. Print string. And this is if closest enemy is not valid. So moving forward simple. And here what we do is we move toward enemy. So move toward enemy. So if I just attack like this, it doesn't execute either. Okay, that's good to know. Because that means that everything I did there to tweak things, like all of this, which I felt like, oh yeah, it's really helping. Turns out, no, actually, it was not. It wasn't being fired at all. It wasn't doing shit. Oh! Oh, no, it was doing things. I know what I did wrong. Oh, no. Combat Pulse is still doing a thing. No, I am just an idiot. Add notify Combat Pulse. Because what what it used to do is it used to like launch character in a certain direction. But I changed that to send a gameplay event to the ability to do that instead. So I'm not going crazy. I don't think this one needs a combat pulse now. I'm not going crazy. But that does mean that it's still a little annoying. Probably shouldn't just put that in the... Because there's a real chance at this point of accidentally rotating towards the wrong enemy. It doesn't seem to be happening that much though. Okay. Default class settings. We have a cost as well here, right? Gameplay costs. Mana dash cost? No. Can't really use that. Gameplay effects. Blueprint class. Gameplay effect. Gameplay effects. Sword special attack costs. And I'll just modify the mana attribute. It's probably going to be an issue now that I think about it. By -100. Because what it'll probably do is it'll probably just put me into the negative numbers here. So I'll have to look into how to set up a cost that is also clamped. Though I suppose what I could do is I could just check before committing the ability. But for now, let's see this. It doesn't even apply to cost. Why not? When the ability is committed. Am I not committing the ability? I'm definitely committing the ability. Attempts to commit the ability. This is our last chance to fail. Child classes that override activate ability must call this themselves. Okay, that's fair. But it's not... Oh, that's because it's the wrong attribute. I hate the fact that I did that. That I made separate attributes for player and enemy. It's not too late to fix that, but it would be kind of bothersome to fix at this point. I mean, it still doesn't do it. So that didn't fix shit. Unless I need to save this first. Oh, we can get rid of these particle systems as well, actually. Not that it matters too much, but we don't need it. Oh, I'm just using the wrong one. Gameplay effects, sword, special attack cost. That probably means that I put something to cost 100 mana on the wrong ability now. Let's not think about that, okay? Okay. Oh, I don't even have 100 mana right now, so it's not allowing me to do it, in general. Okay, that's cool. So, the cost works as well, and that's kind of like really amazing on... I mean, 100 is way too much. I just realized. It needs to be like minus a 30 or something like that. But that's kind of like why the gameplay ability system is kind of low-key, like really awesome. The fact that it does all that kind of stuff just for you. It's just like, okay, we commit an ability. It costs so much to do this ability. If you don't have that amount, we're not going to put you into a negative number like I was afraid it would do. It's just going to make the ability fail, which is fucking amazing. It also means that because everything is just kind of being done for you, sometimes things are a little confusing. Because you don't have to like explicitly, personally set up connections as far as like code goes. That would make sense. So... okay, that gameplay ability works again, which means that everything works now, right? It looked really goofy seeing all these enemies with the cameras attached to them, though, but it works, so I'm not gonna complain. So yeah, let's just try to see if the boss fight, what that's like with his ability now, and we also do need to go back into the boss fight and set him to only use his special attack once he's reached like 60% HP instead of 99%, because that's what it does at the moment, and we don't want it to do it constantly throughout the entire battle, obviously. So we get a nice little cutscene. Actually, I muted the... yeah, you guys can hear the music. I muted my speakers, but I don't think it actually muted the game audio itself, so you can still hear that. I wasn't aware of that. I hope it's not too loud, but looking at the audio meters, it doesn't seem like it's particularly loud, so it'll probably be fine. Oh yeah, it only rotates on the specific enemy, so... oh my god, it absolutely annihilates me. Get the fuck out, stop attacking a little bit. Get the fuck out. Okay, that's kind of cool. I don't know, maybe I want to... what the fuck? It should also cancel abilities when you die. And... okay, there's some more bugs to iron out, okay? It's not quite finished yet. For now, that seems pretty good. That seems like something I can be happy with. So, one last thing. I don't even know what this character movement enum print string is doing, honestly. So one last thing to change is to change the... where is it? I actually don't know if I want to change that right now. Maybe we'll change that later. Oh, I just removed the add local rotation here anyway. Yeah, it's gonna be annoying to set up right now, so let's not. Well, in the future, I'll probably just do this like tomorrow, after I'm done with work. What we'll need to do is add local rotation to that camera boom that we have set up. We need to put that into the enemy class, but I'm going to do it a little bit more optimized than that, because instead of doing it in the enemy class itself, just having them all rotate constantly, what I'm going to do is, since in the character, the player character itself, we have this find close enemies or step nearby enemies or whatever. Yeah, update nearby enemies. What we have here is, or maybe it's actually not that difficult to do because we have this nearby enemies where we add those things. So if we just say in our enemy get camera boom, maybe we can add local rotation to that, which will be equal to 20 degrees. Do we have a reference to delta seconds in this? I doubt that we do. Yeah, we don't. Figured. Let's multiply this by get world delta seconds. That works as well. And now it should be rotating all the enemy cameras only for the enemies that are close to me, which is just a little bit more optimized. I don't think it's going to matter that much in the grand scheme of things, but if you're going to code something like this, you might as well do it in a optimized way, right? And this also now should just function for all the... Oh, that's the wrong axis! I mean, it looks kind of neat, but that's the wrong axis. Apparently, GitHub was right. It needs to be the middle of one, sure. Which doesn't make any sense. But I'm not going to think about it. Okay, this one just straight up doesn't do it, which is kind of weird. Does this one do it? This one does it. So why doesn't the flying one do it? He doesn't inherit from... Oh, because he's not... Well, no, he is close enough. Hold on. We're going to... I want to see your camera component, dude. Or your camera boom, rather. Camera boom. It is rotating, but are you just... I think I died at some point there. Is this one just using the pawn control rotation? Yes, it is. Is that because its blueprint is set up improperly? Yes, it is. So now this should... Yeah, it does rotate. Oh man, that looks so much more dynamic and cinematic, doesn't it? I really do like that. Okay, that's pretty much everything that I hoped to get finished up today. And, okay, it does look a little goofy having all these cameras hanging around, but it's the easiest, most convenient way to set this up. There's also... There is a way that is even better, because you don't need to spawn in this many camera components, because I can just spawn in an actor and attach that to the thing that is at that point relevant. And if I get any reason to change around this ability to do that instead, I might. But this might be nice in different ways as well, where every enemy has a camera anyway. It is very inviting for me to make use of that in other abilities as well at some point. So I think that having that just there is going to spark a little bit more creativity as well. And I don't think it's going to be measurable in performance impacts. It's like one component more that is only doing things when I'm nearby anyway. So I think it'll be fine. But for now, we've been live for almost 3 hours at this point, so I'm going to get the fuck out of here. And I'll be back maybe later this week again to finish up that new character model that we've been working on. And I'll also try to get the Twitch chat a little bit more readable on stream, because that's been an issue on this one, which I wasn't prepared for.